Today I'm going to be talking about learning to play with your left hand or your off hand. So to get started, I think the number one reason you should learn lefty is for the amount of distance potential in the long term. If you think about your stock backhand hyzers, they can go a lot further than your forehands for most people. So for instance, in 10 years time, if you keep sticking to it, you're going to have way more distance potential than if you never tried it out. But you've got to go through those years of tough learning. There's a tree guarding the basket, and then I've got to go over the left hand side. Now I can reach this with a firebird on my forehand, but I've worked on my forehand a lot. For most people, that's not going to be the case. And so what might work for them is learning to play lefty. Let's give it a throw. Now in critical moments, you're going to be more adaptable, you're going to have a higher percentage of good outcomes, and you're going to have a higher ceiling. So my boss was here. It's not quite as good as my forehand yet, but I understand that it's fine. And at the moment, that's the difference between me making a 3 or a 2. But in the long term, that's going to be the difference between making a 3 and a 2, but the other way around. I've been developing my life in a lot of areas recently, and that brings me on to number 2, which is preventing imbalance. So if I'm throwing right-handed, it's all unilateral and it's not a bilateral sport. So if I'm never using my left-hand side, my right-hand side is way more developed. And so balancing this out will not only keep me balanced and keep me in a healthy state, but it is also going to prevent injury. So, but sometimes, obviously, for this backhand hyzer, I'm going to be throwing a firebird right-handed. And it's going to go close. A little bit long right. There are many reasons why it will prevent injury, but one of them is you literally have to throw less on your dominant side. If I'm throwing left-hand backhands, throwing less forehands, which is one of the places people commonly get injuries, but I'm also just throwing like the less total number of shots with my dominant side. Reason number 3 is it helps get rid of bad habits. When I'm practicing with my left hand backhand goes down to my core principles. With my right hand side, it's an opportunity for me to realize some of the biases I may have to make corrections, because I already have bad habits that I'll be able to fully recognize and understand when I learn lefty. And that's the same with my backhand and also me learning lefty putting. So it's the same for me learning righty putting. It really helped it out. Reason number 4 is it helps keep the game fun. I feel like a beginner again, especially when I'm putting, but with all of the shots. And it's the same thing with the backhand and putting. You should also learn forehand. That went remarkably well compared to any other lefty forehand that I've ever thrown. And when I feel like a beginner, it helps me teach people because I come from where they've been. Now I have an opportunity for a lefty putt and a lefty birdie. Here we are. Still needs some work. We'll get there one day. Reason number 5, your brain literally, for lack of a better word, improves. Your hand-eye coordination gets better, your balance gets better, because you're doing something difficult and you're learning a new skill. Certain parts will change to be able to facilitate and help the new learning that you're doing. So you're going to become a better, just a better person. I mean, you're putting yourself through something difficult. I wish I could explain it more technically. I may hop back to the studio for this one, but it really, really will help you out. My forehand has also improved from learning these things, because now, for one thing I'm doing is I'm realizing that I need to properly open up my plant foot, and then that will allow my body to come through more. Number 6 is the wow factor. People are going to recognize that you're doing something special, and also you're going to stand out in the media. People are going to see how dedicated you are. And number 7, last but not least, you can make accelerated gains. I can literally teach myself from a person who already knows how to do it with my right hand side to my left hand side. And I can make instant changes. And it's not going to be the easiest thing ever, but it's going to be way easier. And you could learn I've got to the point where I am with my backhand with about a tenth of the time that it took me for the other thing. It's not going to be perfect. You're not going to do it straight away. But if I do 1 hour session, I can make consistent, really big improvements. I stopped doing it for about a month, went back on it, and I went from about 250 feet to about over 400, because I was just, it's just, you should do it. If you're not doing it already, I think that it's something that will enable you to become a better person, a better disc golfer, and just all round better at learning skills. And if I haven't persuaded you, then I'll have to try again another time. The last hole is 500 feet, just over 500 feet, and let's see. Flip. Now, that hyzer flip up was absolutely money. Started this round off pretty badly, and I've really brought it up. Now, how I think you should treat this is how you treat every other skill that you try to get better at. And you should compare your form to a pro's, so you know someone like Simon Lizotte or Eagle, what's going on. Slow-mo it, you better film yourself. So cheeky little par 4, so Eagle time. Ugh. Never mind. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, tuning into the channel. This has been the B-Hole, and I'll see you in another video. Peace.